June 1942. Midnight, Washington, D.C. Darkness presses against blacked-out windows. The city holds its breath. Feet move through mist and torchlit drizzle, each glance exchanged in silence. Behind heavy doors, lamps flicker to life in rooms sealed more tightly than any vault. The war's pulse is electric, running through wires, pounding in chests. Hands move with anxiety and purpose over battered desks, fingers stained blue with carbon ribbon and trembling from too much coffee and not enough rest. Silence is not calm here. Silence is tension, alive and buzzing. Women fill every corner. Secretaries, teachers, farm girls, mathematicians. The smell of burnt toast mixes with that of raincoats, sweat, and typewriter oil. Codes arrive in bundles, crisp green paper folded over telegraph tape. Radio static captured, enemy words hiding behind numbers, German enigma, Japanese purple, Italian Navy ciphers. Hours spent searching for a single flaw. First, the dull clang of a file cart, wheels squeaking on cracked linoleum. The sound is a metronome to the night's urgency. The click of relay switches, the rhythmic ka-chunk of a cipher machine devouring tape. All day, all night, the codebreakers push pencils, search for rhythm in chaos. Eyes blur, but focus returns. A string of 5 random characters. Pause. Then 3 more, now familiar from last week. Numbers repeat not by chance. A glint of pattern, yes, maybe just a trace. A thought emerges. If this pattern is true, it could be a fleet signal, a hospital ship, or a wolf pack preparing to strike. Shoulders tighten in the dimness. There may be only an hour to act. Doubt drifts among the rows. Only the privileged know how much will depend on the work, how many convoys' fate hinges on these calculations, these hunches. Down the corridor, a radio operator delivers the latest haul of static. Swallowed yawns ripple through the ranks. An officer checks her watch. Midnight already, and the wind against the glass promises a storm before morning. The days bleed together. Training, always training. Endless drills in secrecy. Mother's right, sister's worry. Just office work, mother. Easy, quiet, safe. No detail is ever shared at home. No comfort comes from honesty. The truth, if spoken, would be treason. The heavy hush of morning never quite leaves these halls. The war outside is relentless. Bombs, guns, soldiers crossing continents. But inside, the battle wages silently. A row of buses pulls away from curbside. Women disembarking in sensible shoes, rationed stockings, bracing against drizzle and wind. Head down, coat clutched, another day inside the labyrinth. Through the gates of Arlington Hall, security checks and nervous glances. Every entry is a test in silence. Step by step, the old school grounds now teem with desks, cables, maps, the secret heart of the Signal Intelligence Service. Each room is thicker with secrets than the last. Fresh coffee brewing in giant percolators mixes with the sharp sting of hair tonic, eraser dust, sweat. Worn wood floors shudder beneath the weight of endless foot traffic. At every hour, typewriters racket, mimeographs churn, the soft murmur of calculation never stopping. Bletchley Park, thousands of miles away, carries the same unnatural rhythm. Mansion and huts, brick and timber, wet grass and worn carpets, the constant quick stride of somebody late to shift change. Tired faces, laughter in snatches, midnight cigarettes in bunks. Decoding, encoding, delivering. Messages pass hand to hand, hut to hut, code sheets pressed tight against jumpers, newsprint smudging fingers. The work, always the work. Stacks of cryptic intercepts land on desks, each sheaf a mission, each mission life or death, though only a handful know the difference. A woman hunches over her desk, hair escaping a hasty bun, scanning for the crucial repeat, 2 letters, a number, a shift in sequence. The pressure mounts as the hours drag, but there is satisfaction in the chase, the pulse in the temples, the unforgettable high when patterns emerge where chaos reigned. Sometimes it's a matter of intuition, a half-heard phrase over shortwave, a mistake in the enemy's formatting, a detail only a weary, persistent mind would catch at 3 in the morning. 1 page out of thousands suddenly yields. A naval convoy movement, routes rerouted, lives bought with sleepless nights and ink-stained hands. In England, gray dawn over the estate, the hurried shuffle of boots on gravel as shift changes. Men and women, mostly women, longing for a real bed and a fresh bar of soap. No uniform marks them as heroines. The real badge is exhaustion, the dark circle beneath each eye, the haunted knowledge that one missed cipher could let tragedy loose across the world. Everywhere, reminders of secrecy. Letters censored, diaries destroyed. A warning at every pay station, loose lips sink ships. One careless word can end a career, a freedom, a life. Even laughter is measured, never too loud, never too specific. The outside world sees only the placid exterior. Mothers are told she's just a clerk in Washington. Husbands ask questions, answers wither in the mouth. Days bleed together. Rain on the courtyard, broken pencils, refilled ink bottles, endless paper runs. Rolls of tape torn too soon, hands smoothed over the roughness to keep the machine running. There are small joys. Toast with bitter marmalade after an overnight shift. A contraband chocolate bar shared among friends, passed from palm to palm in the dark. A letter from home, interrogated, then read and reread until the words blur. Fatigue is constant. Occasionally a girl collapses in her chair, doctors citing nerves. They'll call it battle fatigue later. Shifts rotate mercilessly. Dawn to dusk, dusk to midnight, midnight into gray morning again. Headaches, aching backs, bloodshot eyes. Very rarely, a week of leave. A train ride, a taste of freedom, a flash of the old world before the war. Most never meet the officers whose lives their work has saved. At Bletchley Park, a young woman running the Colossus, her hands deft, eyes fixed, fights daily for results she'll never be allowed to claim in her own name. No headlines, no medals, only the quiet satisfaction of a job done and the hope the next shift goes just as well. Some wonder, as the wind rattles the blackout blinds, whether anyone will ever know what happened behind these doors. Most choose simply not to wonder, trusting in the mathematics, trusting in each other, trusting that history will one day remember what it so carefully hid. The air in the huts changes with the seasons, but never with the pressure. Late night chill or oppressive midsummer heat, every hour is heavy, every shift a race against dread news from the front. Sleep is rare and thin. Meals are rushed, often cold. Eyes flicker with fatigue, nerves fray, but discipline holds. Every coded message is a threat. A U-boat lurking, a bomber squadron changed course, a plan for invasion or sabotage. The challenge is bigger than human cleverness alone. There's the ache of knowing that somewhere the enemy is adjusting, adapting, racing to stay one step ahead. Suspicion rises. What if today's pattern is a trap? What if a false lead sends lives into danger? The work spills over into crisis moments. One morning, half the ciphers arrive rekeyed, no clear entry point, the usual clues gone. Panic settles in the pit of the stomach. Is this the day the wall goes up unbreakable? Desks fill with discarded equations, quick-sketched grids, whispered bad jokes to manage the fear. Every so often, miracle. The machine age dawns, not with fanfare but with screeching gears and juddering switches. Codebreakers become engineers, tuning the British bomb and the American Colossus. These monsters of wire and metal hum through the night, programmed by women working from memory and feel, designing the logic that will kill the puzzle. Solder burns, cables tangle, the air smells of hot copper and ozone. When a machine hits, it's electric. A code tumbler falls into place, and suddenly a message blooms in plain speech. Relief surges through every muscle. A cheer rises, quickly stifled. Job's up, a fleet rerouted, an attack averted, sometimes victory snatched from disaster. No time to celebrate. There's another cipher, another pile of tape, another chance for error, and another demand for perfection. In these moments, the codebreakers hardly dare believe the impact. Reports pass through the corridors, convoys have survived, an air raid never launched, submarines lost before they struck. No one says the quiet truth. It was ink-stained hands, sleepless minds, a single moment of insight that turned the war's tide. In the hush beyond the walls, entire continents shift without knowing who to thank. The war's technological arms race is always felt, never seen. Messages cross the Atlantic in secret between Arlington Hall and Bletchley Park, pulses of brilliance and collaboration face to face with the terror of failure. Tools must evolve as quickly as the enemy's machines. The burden of secrecy means that only the small team responsible for Colossus or the new American calculators ever truly know what they've built. Innovations happen in cloistered rooms. Achievements are locked away for decades. Occasionally, a cryptic message arrives from leadership. A few words, recognition, praise, sometimes an extra ration of butter or soap. No medals, no signatures. The codebreakers keep moving. The urgency never leaves. The outside world lingers as an unattainable dream. Carefree laughter, summer picnics, normalcy. Sometimes on rare nights the war seems almost distant. Then another siren, another shift change, another reminder that peace lies only at the end of this endless maze. Long shifts melt into one another. The strain is palpable. Lines furrow brows, hands tremble slightly above keyboards, hearts beat just a little too fast. Barracks grow crowded, privacy melts away. Bed to bunk, bunk to desk, each day asks more and gives less. Secrets gnaw at sleep. The air in decoding rooms is thick with unspoken truths. The knowledge that a single slip could cost lives, that every message delayed means ships might vanish before help arrives. Sweat clings to dresses, hair slowly wilts, the constant pulse of urgency never lets anyone truly rest. Some ache with guilt, victories always tinged by what cannot be saved. There are small celebrations when a code breaks. A convoy reroutes safely. Yet there is no room for joy when knowledge of a ship sinking, lives lost and named in cold radio traffic, passes through trembling hands. Afternoons bring reminders, the scrawled warning above every door, loose lips sink ships. Fear of court-martial, of death for treason should one word slip. Diaries forbidden, longing for sweetness of letters home, and fearful their own families might ask questions whose answers could mean disaster. Often the sense of isolation grows. The outside world never sees. Families grumble over missed holidays, suspect flirtation during dances. Rumors swirl, always wrong, sometimes cruel. Newspapers print stories as if magic made the war's progress, never hinting at the ceaseless hum behind blackout blinds. Through it all, a stubborn esprit de corps binds thousands of women together. 18 or 80, mothers and daughters, all sworn to protect what they've learned, even from those they love. Friendships deepen and break, sometimes silently, always protecting the code. Emotions peak on certain days. News of D-Day, a message intercepted brimming with hope or horror. In those hours, the knowledge of what is coming weighs especially hard. Jean Sims, glancing at a string of encrypted traffic, senses the word overlord passing through her fingers. Knowing history pivots on the message, yet hearing only the echo, never the applause. Some are the first to know peace has arrived. A coded Japanese transmission, unexpectedly clear, brings the word of surrender. As realization grows, tired faces shine, not with glory but with the simple relief that the terrible burden is, for now, ending. There is pride, the pride of work done well, bonds forged in crisis, a war won by sacrifice carried in silence. There is also sorrow for pain caused, regret for what could not be changed. And always the unending vow, memory of achievement must be kept for decades until secrecy lifts. For a few, the price is too high. Fatigue breaks sense and body, nerves collapse, illness follows. Recoveries take time, sometimes a lifetime. Some regret the suffering they caused, others the years lost to secrecy. But most hold fast, knowing history was changed by hands that never stopped working, even when the world refused to see. The war ends, news spreading first as rumor, then as a radio announcer's shout bleeding through every corner of Arlington Hall and Bletchley Park. Before the headlines, Codebreakers already know. They have seen the message, decrypted the surrender, felt history change in their hands. A moment of wild relief, tears, long embraces, spontaneous dances in corridors. The struggle is over. Yet with peace, secrecy remains. Orders are clear. Never speak of the work, not to friends, not to family, not even to future children. Uniforms returned, jobs dissolved. Men home from battle reclaim roles once held by women. A quiet exodus ensues. Bright minds shuffled out, dreams deferred. Each day after, history fades the women into footnotes. Lives move on, teacher, mother, wife. Yet the past lingers. Letters never written, photographs never taken in the war's heart. Stories tucked inside hearts and locked away for years. Some meet in secret, keeping the bonds forged over endless codes and sleepless nights. Years pass. Newspapers celebrate generals, politicians, inventors. Their names echo, but behind closed doors, codebreakers tell only whispers. Some women return to work when new threats rise. They shape the National Security Agency, pioneer the new science of digital secrets, quietly building the backbone of invisible wars to come. Memory's tide does not forget forever. Decades later, voices rise anew. The truth emerges from national archives and interviews, old notes and long-withheld memoirs. Late in life, the Code Girls gather, pride blooming at last, a reunion not of vanity, but of recognition earned in silence. A new generation listens as stories unfold. The lessons of hidden perseverance and quiet brilliance become seeds for revolution in technology, mathematics, and the struggle for women's equality. Barriers that once seemed unbreakable, from classrooms to boardrooms, fall a little easier, inspired by the invisible victory won in code and courage. Now the legacy stands clear. Thousands of women, their minds sharp as razors, their nerves tested to the edge, changed the course of history. They shortened the war, saved millions, rewrote what it meant to serve, to lead, to win a battle without ever firing a shot. And the final truth survives in every life touched, every innovation fueled. They proved once and for all that genius, grit, and heroism wear every face. The revolution is complete when it becomes invisible. Their voices whisper through the quiet, never seeking fame, only a future, only fewer funerals. Every code cracked, every convoy saved, every triumph of peace and progress bears their mark. And so the story endures, an unsung victory, carried forward by those who will not let memory slip into silence again. Within the endless calculations, miracles happen, never sudden, always gradual. Pages of scrawled guesses become maps, schedules, and warnings. Somewhere across the world, ships survive because a string of numbers breaks and a message finds its mark. The war's greatest secrets hide, not in generals' cabinets, but in the tired eyes of a woman leaning into the glow of midnight, refusing to forget that lives hang on every letter. The work is invisible, the burden immense. She keeps going. She always keeps going.